like we're having a Super Bowl party. Cheers.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow or the next day or something. For today's vlog, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. Story time. This is a story from
98, I think, or 7.
It's one of my favorite stories. So Cammie and I met when we were 14. The first time I saw her, I knew.
Wait.
Just kidding, that just sounded really good. I knew she was a girl. No, I was 14, I had no idea what was going on. But I was like, okay, there's a girl. But by the second or third summer we spent together, 96, I was like, man, there's something about that girl. 97, I was like, that's another story. Okay, so I lived in California, then our family finally moved up from California to Washington. And that's when Cammie and I really had like our first phone call. So now we're living in the same state, about 30 minutes from each other. And we're both going to the same Bible study once a week, which is super romantic for
Bible study.
For youth group kids. We have, I guess what was our first DTR?
On the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess there's people that don't know what a DTR is. Which is really weird to me.
Define the relationship.
I think that's a youth group thing. And up until this point, I feel like you'd expressed like pretty much zero interest.
0.
Between 1% and 0. I would round closer to 0 though.
I wrote him back sometimes when he wrote me.
I wrote her about 20 to 40 letters and she sent me 3, maybe 4. I mean, it could be as high as 5, but she's like, no, I sent you 10.
I know you sent way more than I sent you. I thought you were a cool guy, but I don't think I like...
Well, that's nice.
I think there was something there, but...
So we ended up on the phone. And I actually was living in this room under the stairs in a closet. And I remember where I was.
This is way before Harry Potter, by the way.
I was really proud of this room. It had posters of Christian hardcore bands.
You chose it, like you wanted it.
Yeah, it was my favorite spot. Bookshelves built out of Mountain Dew cans. I told her on the phone I liked her. And she told me that she liked me back. So this is our senior year in high school. And after liking her since 93, 98, so 5 years, since liking her since junior high or middle school, basically, she, for the first time, tells me that she likes me. This is on a Wednesday, I think.
That sounds super dramatic. Like, you've liked me for 6 years, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I like you too. You didn't like me for that long. You maybe liked me for 1 or 2 years before this, maybe?
Yeah, what, you were inside my brain?
Well, that's what you told me.
Okay, I wasn't madly in love with you for that whole time. Okay, put it this way. I had one girlfriend in all of high school and it wasn't Cammie. And it was a really big deal for me. And before I asked this girl out, back in California, there was this thing that went through my head and it was just like, what about Cammie? And Cammie lived 2 states away and she hadn't expressed any interest. It was just really this weird thing. So there was that.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked you. I thought you were cute and you were all innocent and naive and yeah. She tells me on the phone that she likes me. So this is like, I don't know if it was the best day of my life, but I mean, it was the best day of my week, maybe the best day of my year at the time. So the next day, we go to this Bible study. It's on the Spiros, at the Spiros house up north in Edmonds. They have this nice house, and all these people were coming up there. There's probably 10 or 12 of us. And Cammie says she wants to talk to me out on the deck. And there's this deck with this beautiful view of the Puget Sound. So it's like, and she had just told me that she liked me. And it was like pretty, you know, pretty cool. There's a swimming pool right below.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why it's making story time. And then she calls me out there. Remember, we're high schoolers. And she says, just so you know, I could never marry you.
I don't think we're ever gonna get married. It's just basically the same thing. But.
I wasn't even asking for her to marry me. And that's, she just like lays it down just like that.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew she was the one.
I was all concerned after having that phone conversation because I think I knew he liked me more than I liked him. And so I felt like, oh man, I need to clear this up, or
you did that.
I don't know.
You cleared it up. It was crystal clear.
It's funny because there wasn't even another option in my head of, I get the vibe that you like me more than I like you. So that could complicate things, possibly.
We weren't even like dating, or there was like no next move.
So it's really,
we had just said like, hey, I like you and I kind of like you. And it's like, okay, it was like pretty casual.
It's really funny and maybe a little disturbing that I jumped right to that, but whatever.
Yeah, it was disturbing to me.
Yeah.
So, that was that.
Sorry I said it like that to you. Well, I think I realized like that 20 years later that was kind of an imperative way of saying that, or it just wasn't really taking your feelings, at least in the moment, into account. It was just me wanting to make sure, like, I don't know.
You had kind of panic mode button you hit.
Yeah, I think I like perceived major conflict in the future if I let this go on any further. But yeah, I can see now that was
we need to do
hurtful.
Story time more often, because I think this is the first time she's ever apologized to me about this story.
So sorry.
Hey, I forgive you. That's the end of the story, except for I guess we're still living it. So that was 1997, the end of high school, and she said that, and she was wrong. And I like to remind her of that.
I was wrong.
And I also like to joke, I said it already earlier, but that's how I knew she was the one. I wonder if there's some truth to that. Like, no one had ever told me that. And I like doing impossible hard things. So that's when I was like, she's playing hard to get.
I wonder if you're just like, this girl's super serious.
Well, I think at the deck, I was just like, okay. Like, I wasn't asking to marry you. I think you were maybe saying something else. I think maybe you were really saying,
Maybe.
I am not ready to move forward right now. Which I wish you would have said that. You're like, hey, let's take it easy here.
Or I was even saying, this is painful to say, but like, dude, you're way out of my league. Like, don't even think about it. Maybe.
I'm out of your league? Like, I'm better than you?
No, other way around.
You're out of my league.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Which I'm not. Obviously, I married you. But I think maybe I felt that way.
A number of things changed over the course of the next couple of years, because by the year 2000, we were married. Which was actually very quickly after that.
Yep.
I think that story is really funny, because it actually totally makes sense of who we both were back then.
Yeah.
And then to see how much changed, how quickly.
And then I had Gino after that. That was really fun.
Oh, you guys are getting a bonus story. Okay. Which...
I think the next year, or maybe it wasn't.
She goes on this mission trip. Oh man, we all know what mission trips are all about. Hooking up.
At least you religious folk know.
Crushes like crazy. So she goes to Italy.
Yeah.
And comes back. And she was still on this like, I'm never marrying Ben thing. And of course she got some crush with some dude over there, Italian dude that doesn't even speak English. And the last day kissed her like right, you know, like here, but like on the lips, but not on the lips. So she comes back from this mission trip, and whose shoulder does she cry on?
I know, dick move.
Because she misses this dude. She comes back like, oh, Ben, it's so hard. There is chemistry. So I just listened and gave my advice.
Did I really say the word chemistry?
No, I'm just making that up.
Yeah.
I don't know what you said.
Funny.
And I just let her know, you know, I don't think these long distance things work out. You might want to look a little closer
To home.
to the relationships that are like around you.
Ben's like, I speak English. Plus.
So I was there to comfort her.
Yes.
And, which is a good place to be. Okay, that's the end of that story. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's one of our favorites. We kind of tell it to the kids all the time. But this is the first time I've ever gotten an apology out of you. Normally when I tell
that's big.
it to guests, I'm like, oh yeah, Cammy said she'd never marry me because it's kind of a funny line to drop. And she's like, you're taking it all out of context. I'm like, what context is there? Like, that's what you said, and it came out of nowhere. It was out of context. And she's never apologized for it. So now, I'm glad we did this.
I know. That's fascinating.
All right, we're getting ready to go into our Shabbat. We'll show you guys some of our little Shabbat items. We got our flank steak marinating in salt, pepper, garlic, rosemary, olive oil, and red wine. Actually, it's not flank steak, it's a flat iron steak. We got our boars and cheese and our crackers with, I'm drinking a Lagunitas.
I'm drinking a Mike's.
Feeling intoxicated at a level 6 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah. And our Doritos. And we've talked plenty about our Shabbat this week, so we're not going to tell you guys anymore. Except for we'll see you guys next week. And if you like story time, you can put a thumbs up or a comment. Or if you think it was mean that what Cammy said, you can, you know, write a kind note to me. See you guys next week.
Shabbat Shalom.